Alright, Kenny, I loaded the torpedo up with 7 gallons of jet fuel. By my calculations, we can make it to the moon.
Alright, as soon as I plug it in, we're good to go. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
I'm Jake.
I'm Ken.
And we just tried to go into space.
Rapper ASAP Yams is dead. He was famous for founding the ASAP Mafia, but he wasn't the most famous member out. Of course, that was ASAP Rocky, but ASAP Yams dead at the age of 26. He was found by his roommate. The cause of death is still unknown.
Justin Timberlake and Jessica Biel are expecting a baby from the ultrasound. It's most likely a girl.
Congratulations to Justin and Jessica. Remember, Justin, when you leave, I'm coming.
Don't name it anything ridiculous either, please.
No Blue Ivy. Teen heartthrob Justin Bieber is going to be on the Comedy Central, their roasting special. They're going to roast Justin Bieber. And oh my God.
I can't wait.
Things are going to happen. Yeah, they're going to rip that kid apart. I hope he cries.
You know what, though? Maybe they can't because of all of the publicity he's gotten. And, because every time something happens, they already have something smart to say. So, most likely I think that's going to be a lot of recycled material.
Probably.
Like, you might get somebody good in there who can throw a good funny in from time to time, but I don't know. I think pretty much everybody said everything you have to say about Justin Bieber. TLC is kicking off a new album. They are in need of $150,000 in order to produce this album.
You can actually, if you want to donate, you can find it on Kickstarter. This is supposed to be their final album. They want their fans to be a part of it by donating to it. But do you really think that they need... Do you think that they need that money from fans? I mean, Katy Perry donated $5,000 for this. But do you think they need that money? Like, TLC was... understandably, their success was short-lived because of Left Eye Lisa Lopez's death. But still, that was 65 million albums sold. The reality TV show. Do you think they need the money? Or do you think... do you think it's fair for them to ask for money from their fans, and their fans have already given them their whole lifestyle, that they've been living for the last 25 years,
I feel as if you're a diehard fan and you really want to, sure, but a lot of people would think that from the royalties from the music, and the music's popular. It's been played in a lot of movies. They had good success in late 90s, early 2000s, and even with that, they may have made a lot of money, but sometimes the rich and famous, they blow it all. They may not have anything. So, honestly, I guess I feel if they had the money, that they probably wouldn't ask.
Okay, but then do you think, even if you are a diehard fan, should you say, oh man, these people are rich and popular, and they want me to donate money so they can become, rich, so they, they're just... Do you understand what I'm saying?
I have a good idea. If you donated any amount, like let's say if you donated anything over $10 or more, you should be put on a list, and then when the album is released, you should get a free copy of that album. I think that would be fair because, okay, you're giving them the money to jumpstart the album, and okay, they're asking for $150,000. Mm-hmm. If they had anywhere near the success that they did with their other albums, then I feel that they could take that loss of revenue if they gave back to the fans who were good enough to give to them. So I think that'd be fair. So TLC, if you're watching, give them a free copy of the album.
And in case anyone's wondering, with 28 days left as of filming this, they've already raised $112,000. So you're probably going to get one more TLC album. Let's just hope it's a good one. Well, yeah, the tour, actually, Chester Bacon just injured like about a week ago, and originally he was only supposed to miss the Albany and Pittsburgh parts of the show, but I think that I understand that Linkin Park was the headliner. They're the band that, all the money, making the majority of the money, and that they're the band that people were supposed to go there and see, and so on and so forth, and they're the ones funding the tour in the first place. They're funding the bigger portion of the tour and everything else. But Rise Against is a big enough band, they could hold a tour on their own, and Mice and Men, they could really use the publicity, and it's just kind of disappointing to a lot of their fans that, maybe, hey, I'm not going to that concert at Linkin Park, but I really want to see Rise Against. Now they're not going to see Rise Against until, maybe a couple months. Pittsburgh fans might have to wait another year or so. Albany fans might have to wait another year or so. So it's disappointing for them, but I really think it was those two bands. They could still even possibly start their own tour and start going around and so on and so forth.
My thinking behind it is, unless they were contracted, like, okay, if this were to happen, like in the event of something happens to one band, they just do away with the whole tour. Unless they did that in some contract that they had, I feel for the fans that the other two bands should have kept going. They have big enough followings, even of Mice and Men. They're not a radio band, but I've been to venues where they played. I see how many fans they have, especially in Pittsburgh. I've seen the turnout for Mice and Men shows, and I can tell you that there would have been a good crowd for those two bands. I can assure you.
But then again, we're looking at playing at Console Energy Center compared to Stage AE. Like, Mice and Men is going to have a full. They're not going to have a packed console, but they will have a packed Stage AE.
True. So in the event that maybe they may have lost out on money, that is a possibility. Like, maybe if they couldn't have pulled in the crowds at the bigger venues. Now, a venue like Stage AE, yeah, those two. I've been to shows where Bullet for My Valentine, All That Remains have packed that place before. I feel that Rise Against It and Mice and Men would have packed a venue like that. So you do bring up a good point. So I mean, if you aren't able to fill enough seats, plain and simple. But then I do feel that a lot of these concerts nowadays, you pre-order your tickets. You already bought your ticket. And I think for most people, it would still be worth their while to actually go to the show and attend it than try to kind of fight getting your refund, because getting ticket refunds is a giant pain. And you and I have actually experienced that before. We bought tickets to a show at the Rodeo Music Hall in Austintown, going on about 2 years ago. The three bands headlining were Fuel, Lit, and Alien Ant Farm. Now, there were some discrepancies, I guess, between the bands. I don't know. Still to this day, no one knows what the argument was over, but Lit dropped out of the show. And kind of the same scenario. You have these other two bands who are pretty well. Fuel, yeah, very well known. Alien Ant Farm, they were pretty big, in their time.
For their Smooth Criminal cover, more than
Pretty much, but they have enough following. Like Fuel, I feel like there would have been a great turnout for that. I mean, I dropped pretty good money on the tickets, and I never even got a refund for it. I didn't. Basically, Rock 104, if you're listening, you took my money and you didn't even give me a refund after, they broadcasted it on the day of the show, noon. Like, I was just about to get out of work at 4 o'clock that day, and at noon, they said that it was, it wasn't going to happen. I talked to Nick Andrews myself on the phone because I wanted to get to the bottom of it, and he said that Lit was unable to perform at the concert. And when you talk about Lit, like,
My Own Worst Enemy and You Make Me Completely Miserable were really the only two songs you probably know Lit from.
So that's just where I come from. Me as like the fan who would still go there and see two bands versus three. I would have rather just still, even if they would have offered me a refund, I would have rather have used my ticket, go there and see two really good bands. Mostly Fuel though. Awesome band. Make sure to follow us on Twitter.
Like us on Facebook.
And subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now, in the upcoming weeks, there are going to be some changes to the show, good changes. And to fill you in on some things, there's going to be more. There's going to be, instrument tutorials, how-tos, micro guitar lessons, by the way, and possibly some other instruments, too. There's definitely some stuff you're going to want to check out. Make sure to continue to follow us, like us, subscribe to us, and we hope you enjoy.
Well, for the weekly pickup, I'm Ken.
And I'm Jake.
And we'll see you again next week.
Peace out.